the variable weather that we've been having this year is playing havoc with some varieties of squash. For example, these ones here, these are sweet dumpling squash, and as you can see, the little bulbs are starting, the grooves are starting to form on them, so they're starting to, well, they're trying to mature, but way too early. And in fact, there should have been more on it by now. But with the weather changing, one day it's warm here, one day it's warm and overcast, and then it's cold and rainy, and then it's warm and overcast, and then it's really sunny. And all of the variations in the temperature, I don't think these like it very much, and that's why we're getting this. So all the new growth is fine. It gets to that stage, okay, but then the weather starts changing again. As you can see, look at that sky. We're getting probably about all the seasons in one day. Well, we're not quite getting snow, but it was pouring rain earlier on. The ground's soaking, as you can see, and then the sun came out and it was absolutely blisteringly hot, and now it's overcast, and these aren't liking it. That's basically the result. And thankfully, it's just this variety that's doing that, the sweet dumpling. So I think they probably like their temperatures and their conditions to be within a certain range all the time. So they like kind of a stable environment, and they're not enjoying it. Contrast that with the Kuris that we have here. Kuris, very different reasons. The plant's starting to die back because it thinks it's the end of the season. As you can see, the fruits are starting to ripen, so they're all fully laden. There's lots of fruit on it. More up there. I think there's 2 plants here. One of them hasn't liked it very much and hasn't got much fruit on it, but this one here, all the fruit's ripening, and now it thinks the fruit's ripe. The weather's cool. It must be end of season, so the plant's actually starting to die back, as you can see. Which is odd, it shouldn't be doing. Other ones along here. This is a gem squash, and these have taken a long time to get going this season, but I think they've got to the point now where the temperatures are what they want them to be, and so we're getting little fruits on them. And is there 2 plants here? Because I'm seeing 2 different results. I'm seeing different shaped fruit up there. I don't know if this is maybe one of the crazy crosses that's been made, or if it's maybe a different kind of plant. This might be, actually, it might not be a gem. This might be a Sucrine du Berry. They're actually doing really well across the allotment. They've got some outside over another allotment, and I've got one plant inside a greenhouse, which is doing exceptionally well. And we'll see that in a moment. But let's go over and look at these squashes here in the adjacent allotment to compare them to these. So very different looking plants. I don't know what's different about these ones. I think these varieties are probably more resilient and can adjust to the changes in weather, etc. Because they're all very healthy. The only problem that they have now at this stage is maybe the older leaves are starting to go yellow around the edges, which is fine because we're getting to that stage of the year now. But we have the varieties in here. In this bed here, we have a variety called Guicoy. And if we look down here, I was having to look for these a couple of weeks ago, but now I'm finding them coming out everywhere. Even probably about 5 metres away from where they're planted here, up on the other side of the corn. Myself and my grandson found one the other day, a Guicoy grown one of these. Now these, when they get to about that size, you can harvest them and eat them as if they were courgette or summer squash, zucchini to those people in America who give everything completely different names for some reason. Well, I think we go with the French and you go with Italian, don't they? At the back of it, this bed here is blue Hungarian. So we have the Guicoy here, we have the blue Hungarian here, and this is basically what the blue Hungarian ones look like. And I counted those the other day, and I counted 11 spread throughout the plot. Now we've got them over here. I'll just avoid this Jack Russell that somebody's left lying here. We've got one here. There's actually a Guicoy here as well. That's a little bit further on. Now you could pick, that's the size I'm talking about. You could take them at that size and just eat them as a summer squash. Or you could leave them, they'll get to probably about 6 or 7 times the size of that, and then they'll develop the hard skin and you can store them for the winter. But the blue Hungarian, another one here, and I did count, as I said, I counted 11. And there is a bit somewhere in here where they're piled on top of each other like that. And I can't find them. They were the first ones to come out, and they're actually getting quite big now. Quite large indeed. And here we have the Guicoy, as you can see. So yeah, the Guicoy plants are over there, and they're finding their way all the way up to here. Is there another one there? Can't see one now. When they get so long, now this is a candy roaster. This is another variety, but if you look in amongst the corn, you'll see the big squash leaves growing, so they're starting to climb the corn. There is a big blue Hungarian squash in amongst the beans over here, which they've overtaken. And if we carry along here, there, beautiful big North Georgia candy roaster squash. And we have several blue bananas like that. There's a nice sort of large one developing. And we have a failed Moranga down there, because there's, at the front of this bed we have Moranga. At the back of the bed we have the blue banana. I'm just looking there. I'll zoom in on it. I can see a candy roaster just poking up above that bed. If I can zoom in. I can't zoom in, it's not letting me. I can just about make it out in the middle of the picture. Little tiny candy roaster finding its way through. This bed over here, I can't find any of the Morangas apart from the one that's stunted at the front there. This is a Moranga plant here as well, I think. And there was a little fruit on it right at the start. There it is there. If you can make it out. Just there, little tiny fruit, it's okay. Hopefully it gets bigger in there. I don't think it will. That bed's not been very healthy this year. And this bed, of course, is the candy roasters, and at the back is if I can remember the name of them, it is we'll come back to it. And in here we have Nicaise. This whole bed here is Nicaise. And there's one right at the end. These just look like big sort of pomelos or grapefruit. And that stem's actually starting to get a little woody. They're starting to get ready. So I don't know if that one's starting to die back. And the ones at the back here, I've just remembered, are Musquee de Maroc. And I did find a couple on it way back in the beginning, before it got all so densely overgrown. I did find a couple of them. And they were growing fine, really looking good. I did find one that had rotted. And I don't know if the rest have. But the plant looks incredibly healthy. That's the leaves at the back there. You can differentiate them. You can see the different colours. The dark sort of leaves with it looks like mould on them. It's not mould, it's like a sort of downy fur it's got on them. That's the Musquee de Maroc. And the plants are very, very healthy. So I'm hoping that underneath all of this there's some healthy squash. I don't want to trample all the way through looking for it at this stage. I'll let it start to die back down again before I look. In fact, I can see one. You won't be able to see it, but I can see it. There's a yellow flower somewhere down in there. You can probably just about make it out, and that is attached to a Maroc squash, a little tiny one. This bed here, I thought I have the great idea, because gem squash grows so small and compact. Well, the fruits are small, the plants are very viney, the leaves are very small. And I thought, great, I'll stick them in here. What I didn't count on was this bed being absolutely devoid of all nutrients whatsoever. So I've had to dig, at one stage I had to dig up the plants. There's a nice little gem squash forming there, which is good because I didn't think I was going to get any this year. Another nice little one there. Hopefully they get a little bit bigger, but I had to dig them all up, and then I had to backfill the hole again with some. Yeah, I can see them coming now. Look at that. Another one over there. Awesome. Hopefully we'll get them then, because they grow quite quick. So if the plants have now found their bearings and they're growing really fast, I should get a few squashes off them, because they do grow quite quick. They're kind of like the courgettes. I'll show you them in a minute. They also took a while to get started, but as I say, the plants were very stunted. They were very small. So like that size, there you go, there's one. That's an example. That's not a gem, that's another one that struggled. That's actually a Moranga that's struggling. Nothing on it, that's not going to come to anything. But all of the gems were that size about 4 weeks ago. And I dug them up again. The roots hadn't developed at all. because there was nothing for them to grow in. Once you got down so far, it was like rubble and clay. It was horrible. So I dug it back a little bit and I put in some mushroom compost. That's what's in these bags. And then I replanted them, watered them heavily, and look at the result. These are the gems with the pointy leaves here. This is a Moranga. That's a Moranga that's struggling. That's a Moranga that I replanted with the. I obviously didn't do that one, but I did this one, and that's the difference it made. So that just shows you, you know, the squashes do like something to grow in that's got some sort of nutrients in them of some kind to keep them going. Oh, there's another little one, another little gem coming there. Good. So I'm going to get gems. Now over here, the courgettes struggled, and they struggled for a completely different reason. Learning my lesson from the gem squashes, I decided when I made this bed available, this allotment, it just became mine in April, and it was all very overgrown. It was like this, and I had to trim it all back down and remulch it all and plant everything and basically make everything from scratch as if it was brand new. The beds were all pre-built; they were all existing when I arrived. There's another two there, one that's rotted away that's now got a tree growing in it that the birds have planted. And that one there, which is just sand and unusable. But this one here, I thought I'll get the jump on it, and I mulched it properly, cardboard, mushroom compost, about 4 inches of mushroom compost on top, and we'll get the courgettes in, and that'll be them. You know, I won't make the same mistake as the gem squash, and they'll be fine. However, it took ages for them to get going, and I think the reason for that was because the mushroom compost was kind of new, brand new. In fact, it was still a little bit warm. And the courgettes, see, these little leaves, that was it at the beginning. It struggled a lot. It took a long time, but now it's kind of found its groove, and it's going. It's found somewhere to get its nutrients from that's not harmful to the plant, and we're taking off probably 3 or 4, like 6-7 inch courgettes every few days, which is really good. So we'll go across and we'll have a look at the a few of the other squash plants that we've got growing in the other allotment, including the greenhouse. Back across the door, we close the gate. This isn't to keep Coco in, this is to keep everything else out. Well, that's what I tell Coco anyway. No problem. So, squash plants in here. In this bed here, we have a Sweetnut Acorn and a Sucrine du Berry. And I didn't realise we had a Sucrine du Berry in here. I forgot I'd planted it. At the back here is the Sweetnut Acorn. And as you can see, we're getting some lovely little fruits on them. They're very compact, these ones. They grow like courgettes, so they're not putting out big leaders, as this one here, the Sucrine du Berry, is. They just grow sort of very compact and all these little fruits, and I hadn't noticed that it had grown. They obviously can't support as many, so I'll take off those ones. Yeah. So these ones obviously didn't get properly pollinated, and so they're falling off because there's enough nutrients here to support this. This is all really good, strong, nutritious soil. But we've got 2 beautiful big squashes growing there. These are acorn squash. And over here we have some Sucrine du Berry. Now, these ones look absolutely lovely. There's another little one there. And another little one. They won't all be supported. The ones at the end here will probably fall off. That's good. Over here we have Tokyo Blue. I've got 4 of these plants. I forgot I had these seeds, so they went in quite late. There's another 2 over there that went in quite late, and I just basically had to scrabble around to find space for them. Once I planted them and realised my mistake, but they're now catching up. So we've got some nice little fruits growing here. Tokyo Blue, I believe they're similar to a Kuri. They're one of those kinds of squashes. Let's get these weeds out of the way. There's another little one growing there, and they're growing through the fence, so for the passers-by. So we're even feeding people from outside the plot of the dog walkers. And this is the other Tokyo Blue. I've not seen any fruits on this one yet. There's a lot of male flowers on it though. A lot of male flowers. The leader is going all the way up. There we go. Little fruits now. There's a fruit there. There we are. And with that being open and all the male flowers being open, especially on that one, I would expect that the bees would have pollinated that one. So I think that's going to be a good fruit. Let's just break off that broccoli leaf. You take off all the sort of wrecked bottom leaves off your brassicas and stuff, because it helps the plant. The plant's no good without them, and if you leave them there, you're just attracting slugs. But in the greenhouse, I laid plastic here because the weeds were getting a little bit out of hand, and I was getting sick of having to strim every week, so I thought I'll put the plastic down. We'll keep the weeds down now and we'll plan later what we're going to do about that. Now, in here, we only have 2 squash plants. They're in the middle there, and this side we have a butternut squash. It is a Waltham butternut, and on that side we have a Sucrine du Berry, which is a similar kind of fruit to butternut squash, and I've already shown you them. But there we've got 2 others with very small fruits on them. But this is what the difference the greenhouse has made. We've got this beautiful, big, smooth skin fruit that hasn't even got any, you know, like a lot of times the squashes have got that kind of fuzz on them, the little sort of jaggy things that stick in your fingers. This hasn't even got that. And I'm really looking forward to those growing, because apparently you can make cake with them. I didn't know that. You can make like chocolate Sucrine du Berry cake. Now, I have to try that. I'm always looking for new ideas. There's another little one growing there. In fact, I think that one's, yeah, it's going soft. That one's done. So we'll twist that off. Just going to twist it off because we don't want it damaging the prospects of us having another fruit. There we are. Yeah, that's soft and done. That's just going to rot, and it'll hold up this other one down here because I think they're on the same vine. So that one's going to come out. That's a shame. I thought I was going to get 2 off it. I was looking forward to that. Down there we have a butternut squash that's growing the wrong way. It's getting bulbous at the top instead of at the bottom. There's 2 more down there just to show you what they should look like. That's obviously not going to keep all of those. It's going to lose some of them, and I think the big one actually is going to be one of the ones that gets lost. The butternut squashes, incidentally, the reason they're in the greenhouse is because butternut squashes actually need extra warmth. That's the compost bucket. Actually need extra warmth in order to harden up for the winter so that you can store them. So ordinarily what I would do with these is I would harvest them as they get to the size that I want, and then I would take them indoors and let them cure indoors and turn yellow and fully ripen, because that's usually the only way you can do it, because they won't do it outdoors. But this greenhouse, the temperature level in here is very high and it's very consistent, basically because I think the reason for that is because I don't have a door on it. I just left the door off it, so the temperature's kind of even in here, and that's been helping me squash a lot, because I've got lots of them coming on it. I don't usually have lots of butternut squash when I grow them. It doesn't matter how I grow them, it doesn't matter. They still struggle a bit. Is that one split? No, just an illusion. So hopefully that comes good then. There's a lot of good squashes on that, and if I get even 3 of those, I count that as a success. The Sucrine du Berry, I count that as a success just getting that big one, because I've never grown them before, and I've always wondered, is there another one? I thought I saw another one there. Yeah, there is. There's another one, another Sucrine du Berry. So hopefully that one comes good, because I'd still like to get 2 off it. It was a shame that other one was spoiled, but yeah, I definitely am going to make. That recipe I saw, you can make sweet and savoury dishes with those. You can make so you could make a soup from it, or cut it up and put it in a casserole, or you could make chocolate cakes. It's basically like 3 meals in one, which is great. it's your three courses, you know, like your soup, your main course, and then your dessert. So that should be fun. You comfy? Say hello. Hiya, Coco. So that's all the squash plants, including the summer squash. And the only ones I've grown this year are the courgette. In fact, I just seen another butternut squash over there. So the one plant has got a squash in each corner. So there's one over there, and there's one down here. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. If you've watched this far, then thanks very much. I know that the squash videos aren't as popular as the hot pepper ones, but I'm going to continue doing them anyway. Even if it's to a small audience and an ever shrinking one, I don't care. I'm going to put them out there. There aren't enough people doing squash videos on YouTube. So thanks very much for watching, and I hope you tune in for the next one.